Some weapons are fun to own and some are nice to have. Then there are the ones that are so unusual, so innovative, and so unexpected that people can't believe they're still being sold online. Whether they're designed for home protection, emergency preparedness, or personal security. These are the weapons that continue turning heads while newer products come and go. In today's video, we're counting down the most insane home defense weapons Amazon is still selling. Some are surprisingly practical, some are incredibly unconventional, and a few are so outrageous that you'll wonder how they ended up on the marketplace in the first place. Number 6 is the Hudson Blitz, and I'm starting here specifically because of what's being said about it online. You've probably seen a video claiming the Blitz makes more than 150 foot-pounds in .30 caliber. I want to be very clear about this. That number does not exist. It isn't on Hudson's spec sheet, it isn't on any dealer listing, it isn't in any review. Hudson publishes 36 FPE in .22, 41 FPE in .25, and 53 FPE in .30. Somebody scrambled the table, invented a number, and now it's loose on the internet. 53 foot-pounds. That's about a quarter of what Texas says you need to put down a whitetail. So what is the Blitz actually good at? Honestly, one thing, and it's a hell of a thing. It's a genuine select-fire air rifle. Flip the selector above the grip and it runs at a cyclic rate of 1,000 rounds per minute. It feeds from a swing-load rotary magazine that holds 21 in .22, 19 in .25, and 16 in .30. And it's gas-operated, so there's no battery in it anywhere. It rides on a 580 cubic centimeters carbon fiber bottle you fill to 250 bar, which is 3,625 pounds per square inch. Not the 4,350 you'll see quoted. And that difference matters if you're buying a compressor. But run the math on that 1,000 rounds per minute, because nobody does. 16 rounds at that rate empties your magazine in about 1 second. And Hudson rates the .30 at roughly 100 shots per fill at optimal velocity. So you've got about 6 seconds of trigger time in the entire rifle before you're topping off the bottle. The bottle isn't removable either, so you can't swap in a fresh one. It's a blast. It's a legitimately fun rifle and it'll drop a raccoon or a possum. But if the plan is that a 1-second burst of .30 caliber pellets stops a person who's already inside your house, you've built a plan around 53 foot-pounds and 6 seconds of air. If the Hudson Blitz was built to grab your attention, the SK-19 was built to earn your respect. This is the kind of air rifle that makes experienced shooters stop scrolling and start looking at the specifications. Manufactured in the United States, the LCS Air Arms SK-19 combines select fire capability with a level of refinement rarely seen in the PCP world. Chambered in .30 caliber, it can generate up to 95 foot-pounds of energy, placing it among the more powerful semi-automatic air rifles available while maintaining the precision expected from a premium platform. At the heart of the system is a 28-inch Lothar Walther barrel, one of the most respected names in precision rifle barrels. Feeding that barrel is a 480 cubic centimeters onboard air cylinder capable of delivering up to 50 shots per fill, giving shooters a balance of performance and efficiency. What truly separates the SK-19 from many competitors is its adjustability. An externally adjustable regulator and a highly tunable hammer spring system allow users to fine-tune performance for different projectiles and shooting styles. The trigger is equally impressive, breaking at roughly 1.5 pounds and delivering the kind of crisp feel typically associated with dedicated competition rifles. Magazine capacity varies by caliber, with the .30 caliber version utilizing a 17-round system. One of the platform's more unusual characteristics is its fixed magazine design. Instead of swapping magazines, shooters load pellets through a side-mounted access point beneath a magnetic cover integrated into the receiver. The rifle itself measures approximately 39 inches in overall length and weighs around 8.5 pounds, giving it dimensions that feel more like a traditional rifle than a compact tactical platform. Powerful, highly adjustable, and engineered with premium components throughout, the SK19 represents the performance-focused side of the PCP world. At number 4 is the Bintac T9.357. The Bintac T9 might be the closest thing on this list to what most people picture when they hear the words tactical air rifle. This folding semi-automatic PCP rifle collapses to just 16 inches, yet still delivers nearly 100 foot-pounds of energy from a platform weighing only 6.5 pounds. Extend the stock, and overall length stretches to between 26.25 and 29.5 inches. Feeding comes from an 8-round magazine, while a 250 cubic centimeters air system paired with a 125 cubic centimeters hot swappable front bottle allows shooters to replace air supplies without taking the rifle out of service. Performance is equally impressive on paper. Operating at up to 4,500 pounds per square inch, the T9 can launch 82 grain .357 caliber projectiles at speeds approaching 740 feet per second while generating approximately 135 joules or just under 100 foot-pounds of energy. And that's where things get interesting, because once you move beyond the specifications, opinions start to split. Some enthusiasts claim the platform can be tuned for significantly higher power levels, but Bintac's published figures place the rifle in the 100 foot-pound range. The company also notes that reliable semi-automatic operation depends on specific projectile types, and that certain configurations may affect performance. That doesn't make the T9 a bad rifle. What it does mean is that the impressive specifications only tell part of the story. As with many high-performance PCP platforms, real-world results often depend on setup, ammunition selection, and proper tuning. Compact, semi-automatic, foldable, nearly 100 foot-pounds of energy. The Bintac T9 checks almost every box airgun enthusiasts look for, which explains why it has become one of the most talked about PCP rifles in its category. Before we move to the next entry, there's something important that rarely gets mentioned in videos like this. You'll often hear people say, these air-powered platforms can be shipped directly to your door without the same federal paperwork associated with traditional firearms. At the federal level, that's generally true because compressed air systems operate differently than firearms regulated under federal law. Most PCP air rifles borrowed their controls from traditional rifles. The Bintac PA-30 looked somewhere else for inspiration. Instead of a bolt handle, side lever, or semi-automatic system, the PA-30 uses a pump-action design that feels far more familiar to shotgun shooters than airgun enthusiasts. And that's exactly what makes it stand out in a category where most rifles tend to operate the same way. Built around a .30 caliber platform, the PA-30 feeds from a 12-round magazine and uses a 22-inch barrel paired with a massive 600 cubic centimeters air cylinder. Filled to approximately 4,500 pounds per square inch, the system stores enough compressed air to support the rifle's high-performance operating envelope while maintaining the fast cycling that defines the platform. Power is where the conversation gets interesting. Depending on the source, published figures vary between roughly 110 and 120 foot-pounds of energy. Some listings place the rifle near the lower end of that range, while others push the numbers higher. Regardless of which figure you use, the PA-30 firmly occupies the upper tier of production PCP performance. Coming in at number 2 is the Seneca Dragon Claw II. The Seneca Dragon Claw II in .50 caliber is not one of those air rifles that only looks powerful on a specification sheet. This thing actually crosses into territory where you start questioning what an air rifle is capable of. Air Ventry rates it at up to 340 foot-pounds of energy with 336 grain slugs. That's not a typo. 340, a number that immediately puts the Dragon Claw II in a completely different class from the backyard plinkers most people picture when they hear the words air gun. With 336 grain flat-nosed slugs, the rifle is rated for up to 340 foot-pounds, while 177 grain round balls can reach up to 860 feet per second. But real-world testing tells a more useful story. With the heavy slugs, peak velocity lands around 665 to 675 feet per second, with roughly 3 to 4 shots staying above 300 foot-pounds before the power begins to fall. And the air system is worth paying attention to because this is one specification that gets repeated incorrectly. The Dragon Claw II uses dual air chambers with 500 cubic centimeters of combined capacity, not two 500 cubic centimeter tanks. 500 cubic centimeters total. Maximum fill pressure is 3,000 pounds per square inch. That level of output puts the rifle into serious big game territory where legally permitted, including applications such as hog and deer hunting. It can even launch 430 grain air bolts at more than 600 feet per second, giving the Dragon Claw II another capability that you rarely see on a production air rifle. Which brings us to number 1 and the rifle this whole video is named after, the Umarex Hammer Carbine. The Umarex Hammer Carbine .50 caliber takes the extreme power of the original hammer and squeezes it into a much shorter, more maneuverable semi-bullpup frame. At just 34 inches long, it is nearly 10 inches shorter than the standard hammer, and that difference matters the moment you take it into thick brush. Because when branches are grabbing at your rifle and every extra inch gets in the way, compact suddenly becomes more than a convenience. It becomes an advantage. And the Hammer Carbine did not get smaller by becoming weaker. With a 550 grain slug, Umarex rates it at up to 565 foot-pounds and 680 feet per second. Switch to a lighter 350 grain slug and the published figure climbs to 820 feet per second, with energy still reaching 523 foot-pounds. Instead of carrying a massive air reservoir through the woods, the carbine uses a 35 cubic inch carbon fiber tank, regulated at 3,000 psi with a maximum fill pressure of 4,350 psi. Umarex rates it for 4 consistent full-power shots per fill. 4 shots does not sound like much until you remember what those 4 shots are delivering. This is not a high-volume plinker designed to dump a magazine at the range. It is built around the idea that every shot carries serious energy, and the rifle stays compact enough to move with you instead of fighting you through the terrain. Then Umarex fixed another weakness from the original design. The Hammer Carbine comes with 2 2-round linear magazines, and the upgraded twin-shot pressure seal system is designed to keep air from escaping around the magazine during firing. That gives you a total of 4 loaded shots without turning the rifle into a bulky package. And that is really the entire philosophy behind this carbine. Take the original hammer's massive power, cut nearly 10 inches from the frame, keep the regulated performance, and make the whole platform easier to maneuver. The result is a 34-inch .50 caliber PCP that packs up to 565 foot-pounds into a package designed specifically for the realities of big game hunting. It is still heavy-duty, it is still air-hungry, and 4 full power shots means you have to think about shot placement and air management. So that's the list. And if one thing sticks, make it this. Nobody asking you for ID doesn't mean nobody wrote a rule. Check your state and your city before you order, not after. The gap between federally unregulated and locally legal is exactly where people get themselves in real trouble, and Amazon shipped it to me has never worked as a defense in front of anybody. Second thing, and it matters more than any item I just showed you, a weapon is the last layer, not the first. Locks that actually engage, lights outside, a reinforced strike plate because most doors fail at the frame and not at the deadbolt. A dog that hears things you don't. Everything on this list only ever comes into play after all of that has already failed. And if you bought the weapon and skipped the rest, you built your plan backwards. Now tell me down below, which of these did you not know existed? And which one's already in your house doing a job you didn't buy it for? I read every comment, and a good chunk of what ends up on this channel starts down there.